Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wine, Women, and Words. I'm Michelle, and with me, of course, is Diana.
Hello.
And fair warning, this may be an eventful Wine, Women, and Words episode because this is happening right now, and that is happening.
Or it was happening.
So it might be a very interesting episode. Full disclosure. So this month, we just announced it on Instagram and a couple of days ago on Twitter and our newsletter. Our book of the month this month is The Paris Secret by Karen Swan. And in honor of that, Diana and I have decided that we are going to share Paris stories and favorite Paris books.
Mm-hmm. And I want to talk a little bit about why we ended up choosing this book, because I got the book first from the people at HarperCollins. So thank you, HarperCollins, for providing us with this book. And I read the back, and I thought it was just really interesting. And I was like, this is something that combines my love of historical fiction with Michelle's love of mysteries. And basically the premise is, when high-powered fine art agent Flora Sykes is called in to assess objet d'art in a Paris apartment that has been abandoned since World War II, she is skeptical at first, until she discovers that the treasure trove of paintings is a myriad and priceless. The powerful Vermeil family, to whom they belong, is eager to learn more and asks Flora to trace the history of each painting. Despite a shocking announcement that has left her whole family reeling, Flora finds herself thrown into the glamorous world of the Vermeils, but she soon realizes there is more to this project than first appears. And I'm sorry, this is just so cool. It sounds exactly like something Michelle and I would read. And I was like, okay, we got to read this for the show.
It really does. And the fact that, anything about a hidden cachet of missing art from World War II is like, I didn't even really need to read the rest of the synopsis on the back to know that I wanted to read it.
I picked a puzzle.
You picked a puzzle? Good job. But what I wanted to point out, that this book has probably one of the best dedications I've seen in a while. It's for Auntie Flora, the original and best bad influence.
Oh, I want to meet Auntie Flora now.
Who's Auntie Flora, and why is she so awesome? Like, I feel like there are stories there.
It sounds like there are, and I think when we have Karen on the show, we are going to have to ask her about Auntie Flora, because that is important information now.
And
it's exciting because we get to put another pin in the Wine, Women, and Words map, which is just exciting. We have to have a map for the show.
I was just going to say, maybe we have to buy a map. Oh, I don't want
crackers. Oh, yes, you want to eat a cookie. Eat the cookie that your son is giving you. For those of you who are only listening and not watching, Landon is doing a wonderful job of sharing as he tries to stuff a cookie in his mother's mouth.
Yep. Which normally I totally accept happily, but not while I'm trying to have a conversation.
I'm sure our listeners will appreciate that, because there's nothing more annoying than the sound of chewing.
Yeah, chew softly, please.
Hi, Lily.
You say hi?
Hi.
Yeah.
And what puzzle did you pick out?
Ponies.
Ponies. Oh, that is so awesome.
I have Rapunzel, Papato, and Elsa.
Elsa. That one sounds fantastic. I love it. We have little co-hosts, mini Wine, Women, and Words co-hosts.
Hi, girl.
So anyways, as we were saying, we have to have a map for Wine, Women, and Words, because we are an international family now. In London. So we are going to be doing a special episode on April 29th, which is a Sunday. That's when we're going to do our live episode. And of course, we'll have it available for all you guys who listen shortly thereafter. But that means we've got England now. We've got New Zealand.
Mm-hmm. And then Kaylin from a few weeks ago, she was in Mexico for the interview. So I feel like that counts. Wherever they are physically for the interview, that is where the pin goes.
I agree with you on that. And I think we're going to be able to travel the world once over. I think that's going to have to be a goal of ours, is to get an author for every single country.
Okay.
New bucket list item.
That's, oh, no cracker for me. Thank you. You eat it.
I love these wonderful sound effects that we're getting. I don't even need to add anything in.
He's sharing his cracker with you.
Oh, well, thank you, Landon. No, that is such a delicious cracker.
So anyway, so since the book is set in Paris this month, Diana actually just recently went to Paris and selfishly did not take me with her.
I did not, though I did send you a postcard like you requested.
Yes. And
months after the fact, but still.
And I love in the picture that you took for our book this month, the little bottle of the Eiffel Tower.
Which I got at the Eiffel Tower.
What's in it?
Whiskey.
Nice.
Yes. Because who knew that in France, whiskey was actually a thing? That's got whiskey in it. And then we got whiskey from Lorraine, which is really, really good. And yeah, I just picture France being all about the wine. But no, they have a really good whiskey selection.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I think I might be able to pull Ryan back into the whole French fold, because I feel like I didn't have enough time in Paris.
You never have enough time in Paris.
No, I don't think you can. I think you need to go at least 2 or 3 times to be able to have enough time in Paris. I got there. I wanted to have 2 full days in Paris, and I ended up with a day and a half, really, when it came down to it, because between all of the travel that just kept cutting into our time. So I really didn't have enough time in Paris, and it's a beautiful city. And for somebody who loves history, it was just like, I was in love within minutes. We walked from our hotel to the Musée d'Orsay. I refused to take the underground because it was a beautiful Sunday morning for Paris. And I'm like, the shops are just opening. People are just starting to set about their day. We're going for a walk.
People are going to shout bonjour from their windows, and I'm going to start singing.
Right? I had this, I thought for a moment, it could be just like, Belle. And it was funny. We made it maybe about 2 blocks, and Ryan turned to me and he was like, "You're in love with the city, aren't you?" And I was like, yes. How can I not be? The juxtaposition of the old and the new, and the beauty and the art and the literary scene. Love it. Love everything about it. Oh, and I thought of a couple more books that go with our Paris theme.
I know I've read more, and I'm trying to think. My Paris experience.
And you're going to be like, oh my God, why didn't I think of that? Because we read it for the show, or you read it for the show.
I'm intrigued now.
It's one of our favorite people from one of our favorite generations.
Julie?
Yes, Julie Rose is one of our favorite people, but it is not her book. Her book does not take place in Paris, so I think
I didn't think it did, but maybe I'm wrong.
They end up in northern France. Z.
Oh, well, duh.
I told you. Yeah. That one, they actually, it covers the time that Zelda and Scott were in Paris.
That's right. Okay. My mind is not. It's not firing on all cylinders. I was going to say.
I'm doing a great job with my puzzle. See.
You are doing a great job with your puzzle. My Paris experience was kind of heartbreaking, overall. I was maybe 14 years old. So let's travel back in time to 14 years old. That's late 90s, like 99, I think. Maybe 99. Whatever year Princess Diana died,
98.
that's when 98. Okay. because we were in Paris the night that she died in Paris.
Oh my gosh.
But we didn't find out about it until we got home the next day. But anyway, so we're in Paris. I'm 14. And if you remember pop culture back in the late 90s, Buffy the Vampire Slayer was huge. No clue why I associated Buffy the Vampire Slayer with Paris, but my entire life's mission while I was in Paris was I wanted to buy a pair of black pants and a sparkly purple top, because that is the outfit that Buffy wore in one of the episodes that I liked. And that was no clue why I decided that Paris would be the city that I had to buy that outfit in. I could buy it at home. But no. And we were living in Switzerland at the time, which is why we were taking the train home. But so, not this train, a train a long time ago, Lily.
Yeah.
So, but we did, we did the Louvre, and we did
Not the train that with the scenes and bows, right?
No, not that train. We did the Louvre, and I'm sure we did everything else, but really the only thing that I really remember was wanting to buy that outfit. And now, 20 years later, I really hate that I wasted all that time looking for a stupid outfit when I was surrounded by all that art.
Well, you were 14 and you were dumb. 14-year-olds are dumb. It's the hormones. They create this temporary insanity. So you really can't blame yourself for that, because, you were trying to get the outfit from Buffy, and I can understand that and appreciate that. And you're in one of the fashion capitals of the world, trying to get an outfit. So, it's not that bad.
It's pretty bad. But I guess it could have been worse. I did find my black pants and sparkly purple top. I will be happy to report.
Oh, good. At least you found that, because it's Paris. Paris has everything. And if they don't have it, then really it's not worth having. Hell, they even have a Disneyland.
Have you ever been to that one? I never went to the Paris.
No, my family likes to go there because my sister lives in France right now. And my parents plan on going to the Disneyland Paris. And given the short time period that we had in Paris, I didn't want to go because I want to see everything else there is in Paris. It's my first time in Paris. I wanted to see Paris. I didn't want to go to Disneyland Paris. But one of the things that Ryan has is, we're in LA. We've got Disneyland. He's like, why do I want to go to Disney World? Why do I want to go to Disney Paris? Why do I want to go to Disney Shanghai or whatever? Because I've got Disneyland here. So he's one of those where you have to really, really, really talk him into going. But Disney Paris is almost the exact same as Disneyland in California, from what I understand.
That's where, when Rich deployed 2 years ago, his first stop was Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
And he messaged me, or he texted me, or emailed me or something as soon as they had service. And I said, so what are you going to do today? Are you going to do something cultural? Are you going to eat some crazy food?
I'm going to Disneyland.
We're going to Disneyland.
Proper response. The one major difference, though, that my sister and brother-in-law were talking about between the other Disneylands and this Disney Paris, is that Disney Paris, the castle is pink. And the reason why the castle is pink is actually a really practical reason. It's cloudy and overcast in Paris a lot. And so they want the castle to be able to stand out against the clouds. So they painted it pink so you could see it.
That's smart. Otherwise, it wouldn't show up in pictures.
Exactly.
As well.
It's a Disney. But they're going to put in a Marvel land. Like this whole Marvel Studios park there. Yeah. So I'm like, I feel like I've got unfinished business in Paris. It's one of the 2 places in the world that I want to travel back to. The other place is Peru, by the way. And I want to spend a significant amount of time in Paris itself. I want to go to Versailles. If we're there for a long time, I want to spend a day in Disneyland there. What the hell? It sounds like it could be fun. But yeah, I want to see more of Paris. But I have to say, though, when I was in Paris, our primary goal was to see all of the stuff from the Lost Generation in the 1920s, because that's my favorite time period, and I would feel like amiss if I missed out on that stuff.
I feel like our mission, like our overall mission, was to eat as much bread and cheese as possible, because we definitely did that.
That was a total given. I wanted to eat so much food. You'd have to roll me on and off the plane, basically. That's how much I planned on eating and drinking. I told my sister, I was like, I just want to coast through my trip on a river of wine and cheese. Which
sounds beautiful.
It was a beautiful journey on both wine and cheese. But we went to Musée d'Orsay because it has all the Impressionists, all the people from the 1920s that I love. So
you're with your people.
Huh?
You were with your people.
I was with my people. I was with my Impressionists. I was with Monet. I was with Renoir. Like stuff that you'll see in here. I think there is, Renoir, as she searches the province of their prize, Renoir, she uncovers a scandal surrounding the painting. This is going to be so much fun in the book, bringing back the Paris secret. But yeah, when we were there, I got to eat at, because, eating's important. I got to eat where Hemingway ate, and then people from the 1920s, and Scott and Zelda ate. So I got to go to Les Deux Magots. We had breakfast there one day, and then we had dinner at Café Fleur. We had a really nice late night dinner, and I'm sitting inside Café Fleur, and I'm like looking around on the inside, and it's got like this really great like Art Deco kind of vibe inside, and I'm just like sitting in there looking around, trying to picture picture people from the Lost Generation sitting in there, trying to picture Scott and Zelda partying in the restaurant, Hemingway in a little corner trying to write, Picasso in there trying to pick up women. Though Hemingway, if he wasn't writing, was probably trying to pick up women too. So, so much imagination. I was loving every minute of it.
I want to do something like that. I don't know when we'll make it to Paris, but we might be making it to Italy next year, maybe, depending on wedding plans for other people.
I was going to say, are you finally going to get stationed there? Because that is on my list for places for you to get stationed.
I got both of their bodies.
Good job.
And Pee-Pee.
Good job, Lily. The pre-approved spots on my list are England. If there is there a Navy base in England?
I know there's an Air Force base.
Oh, I don't know. We have friends who were stationed in England, but I wasn't sure what branch of the military he was in, so he must not have been in the Navy. All right, so England's out. I am okay with Italy. And
I'm okay with you going to Italy as well.
Not Portugal. Spain.
Ooh, Spain. Ryan actually was in Spain at the base in Spain. Their plane had maintenance problems, and
air quotes, heavy on the air quotes.
Yes, heavy on the air quotes. So they had to pull over in Spain, and they spent the afternoon while they were waiting for these repairs to happen, drinking beer at a cafe by the beach.
Oh, darn. And the part had to be ordered in especially.
Exactly.
So I'm okay with Italy and Spain. And and besides Japan, I don't know what other international ports we have.
I would be totally cool with you going to Japan solely because I want us to drive around in the Mario go-karts.
I've seen videos of people doing that.
I've had three friends who have gone to Tokyo within the last year, really, actually 6 months. And 2 out of the three did it. And one person was taking video of other people doing it. So you need to be stationed there so that we can go and do this.
Well, the good news is I'm part of a few Facebook military spouse groups, like for the area, and there was one post about going to Japan because they were getting stationed there, and every single person who commented on it was like, I would go back in a heartbeat. I would drop everything and go back there if we could.
So that's a good sign.
Well, it's a good sign.
And the kids are young now, so you don't have to worry about them going to school and dealing with them, uprooting them and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I would prefer not if that was an option, but it's not always an option. So.
Well, I'm rooting for Japan. So.
Don't tell my mom that.
Huh?
Don't tell my mom that.
The only problem is if you go to another country, we're going to have to really, really work those time zones for us. Because, I mean, time zones are tricky as it is when we have guests from different time zones.
Oh my gosh, sending a text back and forth today. It was like, okay, we need a time. We got the day. Now we need a time.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so Karen is 8 hours ahead of me in LA. So that's, 6 hours ahead of you. So if we do... And I was just like, I can't think of the math. I pretty much screwed up Heather Webb's appearance. So I was like, Michelle, you figured out the math on this one. Yeah, so she was like, okay, 8 a.m., 9 a.m. LA time, which was 11 a.m. your time, 5 p.m. London time.
Yep.
So I warn you guys now, I may or may not be hungover when we do that episode. I'm just warning you, I may have raccoon eyes and be drinking mimosas or Bloody Marys or something because yeah, the night before is Ryan's 40th birthday party, so I'm gonna be up late.
So she may still be partying.
I may just keep drinking.
Right? Just keep it going.
We should try to make it a mimosa party though. A brunch.
Oh, yeah.
Women in words, brunch.
Ooh, and I happen to have a bottle of champagne for that giveaway that I just won. So I'll just save that.
I can get a bottle of champagne.
Guys!
Yes, this is a plan.
Look at how easy that was.
Over in England, so yeah, that'll be fun. So we're supposed to also talk about other books for Paris. And
we have a fight breaking out over here with crying. So you go first.
Okay. Well, I've got a whole list because actually on creating her story, I did a post just after France, my book prep list for a trip to France. Because for months before I went, everything I read had to be all about France. So here are a few of my favorites. If you're a big history buff and classic literature, I recommend A Movable Feast, especially if you're going to go, because it kind of gives you insight into the whole 1920s scene there. And then after reading that, read The Paris Wife. In fact, if you're going to read The Paris Wife, check out A Movable Feast. I actually listened to it on Audible, which is really great. I love picking up my classics from Audible. And then after that, read The Paris Wife, which also gives Hemingway's wife's perspective afterwards. And that was a really great book, especially because I picked it up just before I went, so it covered their life just before they went to Paris, and then I was finishing it up just as we were leaving Paris. So I was just as sad as she was to leave France in general. The Alice Network, though it doesn't necessarily take place in Paris, it takes place in France. Fantastic book, I highly recommend. And one of my personal favorites is The Little Paris Bookshop, which Jean Perdue, he owns. I might have mentioned this one to you.
That book, I just haven't read it yet.
Oh my God, it is such a beautiful book. Jean Perdue owns a literary apothecary and is a prisoner to his own emotions. And he and this reclusive writer and an Italian cook take off on this adventure from Paris, going down to the south of France, so that they can each face their ghosts, basically. Jean literally has a ghost of his past lover. The writer has to face his own fears. And the cook is this love-starved Italian man in search of a woman that he lost. And then, of course, there's Heather Webb, our own very Wine Women Awards family member. She, I love the little head bob, Michelle. She was on the show, if you remember correctly. We talked about The Phantom's Apprentice Witch, another book set in Paris, and she co-wrote The Last Christmas in Paris, and that is a great book as well. And then I think, and Mademoiselle Chanel, which, I mean, history of Coco Chanel.
Obviously, that has to be on the list.
Yes, I think those are the most notable ones on the list for me. All really wonderful, wonderful books.
Well, so the big one for me that's set in Paris, and the first one that came to mind was The Da Vinci Code. And I know that book is kind of like one of those like hot button books. You either love it or you hate it. But I loved it. And that book was actually the book that got me super interested in art history, and I got like hardcore into researching some of the history that was in the book, like highlighting and post-it notes. And I have this gorgeous illustrated version copy of the Da Vinci Code, and it's just covered in like tabs on the side that marks like historical passages and highlighted the parts that I needed to research. And I completely just demolished that book. I don't know why I did that, but
that means you loved it. I mean, that's a mark of a very well loved book.
It is. It was definitely well loved and well worn. But what I really want to do is, you know, those tours, like you can go to New Zealand and do the Hobbit tour, and you can go to England and do the Harry Potter tour. I want to go to Paris, and I want to do the Da Vinci Code tour, because they definitely have that. I looked it up, and it goes through all of the places in Paris and France that they go to in the book.
They do that with the 1920s, the Lost Generation tour. I looked into doing that. However, they don't take you to drink at the places that they have. That like Fleur, or the Les Deux Margots. Yeah, you don't get to actually go drinking there. So I was like, okay, this is a total waste of money. I'm not doing this.
What's the point if you're not going to drink there?
Right?
Drinking played such a large role in their lives.
Exactly. I mean, in Les Deux Margots, I got to have brunch and watch people go about their day, like starting off their day in Paris, and I was like, this is the best thing ever. You know, some stuff you just can't get with a tour. I mean, tours are fine and everything, but I feel like tours, you miss out on a lot of the culture when you're there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. I just want to do like I want to go to the places, have the tour take me there so I can see them, and then go back to the places that I want to like see more of. Mm-hmm. And then another book that I absolutely love, that was one of my favorites. What? Was, it's not actually set in Paris, but we'll overlook that.
I mean, not every book can be perfect.
It was called The Labyrinth. Oh, sorry, cracker pit stop. It was called The Labyrinth, and it's by Kate Moss. And it is, again, one of the Da Vinci Code-esque books. It flips back and forth between the past and the present. A little more memory painter-ish also. I would throw a little memory painter in there with the style of writing, but it was set in the Languedoc region, like Carcassonne and wherever the Cathars were when the Cathars existed, that region of France. And it's Languedoc. I'm probably butchering it, but it's just the way that the author described it was beautiful, and the history there. I mean, they still have one of the abbeys, or the word is escaping my brain. like the not a fort, but something similar to a fort of this religious sect of people that were just completely stomped out. There's still like the remains of it standing, and I really want to go see that because it's so cool. I mean, you know, it was a tragic event that happened, but it's a cool history thing, and I want to nerd out over history.
I love the cool history stuff. I mean, here in California, one of my only gripe really about the state is that we tear down our history and just build right on top of it. Unless it's something that has to do with Hollywood, we totally disregard our own history.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I loved about France in general was that there was so much history. We went to Alsace after Paris, and it was just so gorgeous there. And you have these buildings that were around since like the 1700s. And then on top of that, you know, there's this whole ridge where there's just nothing but like castles. There's like 80 castles there from the 30 Years' War. And we made a side trip to a place that we weren't really familiar with. And it turned out that it was this plateau, and there was a castle there, and they caused a whole heck of a lot of problems for Louis the 14th, the Sun King, and he got really pissed off at them for interfering because they decided they didn't want to be French, they wanted to stay German, and they caused a lot of problems for him when he was trying to conquer the region back for France, to the point where he was like, fine, screw these guys. He sends his whole military in to completely destroy the castle, like knocks it all down to the point where there's not even a stone left there, and then leaves. And apparently, when the castle was still standing, a guy that was born there turns out to become a pope. So in the 19th century, they built a cathedral there. And it just had like the most amazing views of the valley and stuff. But this was stuff that you don't see this stuff here. You don't see this history here. You get some more history on the East Coast, but you don't really get it as much here on the West Coast, which is unfortunate.
We have more cracker eating over here.
Oh boy, cracker eating.
No, I agree. There's very little. I feel like there's very little history left on the West Coast. Like they don't, or in California at least. I feel like they don't preserve it as much as they should.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, especially I was really bummed out. There is a tiki bar. If you guys follow me on Instagram, there's a tiki bar that I'm quite fond of, and the building itself has been around since the 1920s, and they're tearing it down to build high-rise condos. Which, I mean, yeah, and it's so sad because we're losing this history, and we have a really bad housing crisis out here in California. But at the same time, you know, these aren't houses that the common person is going to be able to afford, because that's where we're having the housing crisis. It's for middle income and low income people in general, and this isn't going to help them. This is going to be for some rich asshole who's going to come in and buy the property and only live in it for part of the time, because it's going to look out over the ocean, because it's just prime real estate. So it's really sad, unfortunately, but it's also part of our culture from the very beginning, where people will come out here and just reinvent themselves, and they would just reinvent stuff here within the state too. So it's sad, but it's also just a part of what we are.
Yeah, I'm excited. I've decided that I'm going to start exploring Chicago's history and literary history. And I found all these places that I want to go see. So once a month, I've determined once a month, I'm going to explore somewhere, at least once a month.
You should put that on your blog with your classic stuff.
I know. I should.
And actually post on your blog.
I know. I should. It's on the list. Everything's on the list. I need like 4 extra hours in the day. That'd be great.
I hear you on that. Well, we have some very exciting things coming up for us this month. In addition to having Karen Swan on the show, we are going to have Holly Kamier is going to come back. She's going to talk about her book, Kingston Court. And then we're going to have Sean Patrick can't pronounce his last name. Can't remember his last name really. I know it starts with a T. But he wrote. He writes these really great supernatural style historical fictions. So he's going to be on the show, and that episode is going to be on a Tuesday night as opposed to a Thursday night. So
Sean Patrick Traver.
Thank you. Thank you. I should be able to pronounce Traver. It's definitely more pronounceable than my last name, Giovinazzo. So he's going to be on the show. We're going to be on Tuesday night. And I think that actually works out better that if we're on Tuesday night with him, because Saturday I'm going to be live podcasting and blowing up our social media at the LA Book Festival.
That's going to be so much fun.
Oh my gosh, you're going to have to send me questions for Christina since you've read the book and I haven't finished reading the book because it's in my very vast books I need to finish pile.
I will send you questions.
Yeah, and then both she and Bobby Goldstein are both going to be there.
Oh, I will send you questions.
Maybe we could. I wonder if we could set up the Facebook Live where you join in.
I'm sure we could, because even Instagram Live, you can add someone to an Instagram Live thing.
We should do that for Instagram Live so that you can ask them the questions directly, and we can do the thing between the three of us. That would be awesome.
We should. We'll experiment with that one day and see if it works, and then
yeah. Let's experiment with that so that we can be prepared for the book festival.
Okay.
Yeah, because basically I'm going to be invading Black Chateau's booth and bugging them, and I'll be popping over to Holly's booth at Acorn Publishing and bugging her over there and checking out the authors and taking just wild snapshots. It's like Coachella. For those of you who have not been to the LA Book Festival, it's like Coachella for book nerds.
That's an excellent way to describe it.
It really is. I mean, there's just booths after booth of just book tables, and then there's panels, and then there's like big time speakers that are on these big panels. Like Bryan Cranston spoke last year. Dave Kroll was at something. He spoke with him and his mother did a thing together, which was really cute. His mother's really sweet.
Oh.
Yeah. And Diana Galbadon is going to be there this year.
OMG.
I know.
I have to see who is going to be at the big Chicago Literary Festival. That's in June.
Yeah,
I think it's the weekend before my birthday. I can't remember. I have to double check.
Yeah, it's around the time of your birthday. I know that because that was when we were going to go to Chicago this year. That was one of the dates that I had planned. I know. Now, see here, guys. Here's the thing. I was going to go to Chicago. I was going to visit Michelle and see Chicago. We're starting to plan this whole trip. The day before I go to buy my tickets, I get a message from my sister going, "Oh, you know how we postponed the wedding? Well, guess what? We're moving it up to October of 2019. So and the wedding's in Seattle. So I get to go to Seattle this year, and I don't get to go to Chicago." But
Seattle's really cool. I want to go to Seattle one day. So you'll have to scout it out for me because
and I don't mean to sound bitter about it because I love my sister, not just because she listens to this, because I really do truly love my sister. And yeah, I'm excited about the trip, but I was like, we have a plan. And for the trip that we're going to do, we're going to go up north. We're going to drive actually because we want to we want to go to the Oakland area. There's a tiki bar there, of course, that we want to go to. Yes, and it's not that far from Mary Vollmer, so I'm going to hit her up. She's up there. I'm going to be like, okay, Northern California friends, which consists of mostly all the authors that we've had up here on the show. We're going to be at this location at this time. Come join us.
Come out and
play. Square. Yeah. And if I time it well enough, I can be in San Jose by lunch, and I might be able to do lunch with Julie Rose, one of our favorite people, by the way. And then we're going to go to Astoria, Oregon. For those of you who are not familiar with Astoria, Oregon, it is Goonies Mecca. And we are going to go pay homage to one of our favorite movies. And then we're going to go up to Seattle, and we're going to do the wedding, and we're going to do all the Seattle stuff and visit with some friends who just recently moved up there. So it's going to be a really fun trip. I'm excited about it.
It will be fun, and I will be jealous.
Yes.
But I still have at least 2 more years here so we can postpone.
Yes, you know, so maybe I can do 2019 in Chicago and then 2020 in New Zealand. And
There you go.
my 40th birthday with Scott.
There you go.
See,
Take me with you.
Yeah, this is a thing our friends who aren't, you know, out of state don't realize is that once you become part of the Wine Women and Its family, we're like, okay, we're going to crash on your couch. We're going to come visit you.
When we say family, we actually mean family in the sense.
We actually mean family, yeah. Scott doesn't realize it, but he's my adopted brother now. For those of you who are not familiar with Scott, we have a couple episodes where he was on the show with us, and he wrote The Lemon-Kelly Life of Annie Astor. So yeah, he is now our adopted brother. I will share him with Michelle. If I don't,
only Michelle.
Yeah, only Michelle. I mean, we do have to share him with his husband, but you know, sibling line, and he's got biological siblings. So I mean, you know.
But we're wine related siblings.
Yes, exactly. So we're adopted siblings. So he's our adopted brother officially. So. You know, and on air, when he was complaining about friends not coming to visit him, I got it on air that it was okay for me to come and visit him.
We will search through that interview and find the clip for confirmation.
And when the show was over, I was like, okay, I was serious. Are you serious about letting me come and visit you? Because I am serious.
Because I'm coming now, so
yeah, we are going to make plans.
Get on board.
Yeah, that would be fun. I could turn 40 in New Zealand.
Then you can come home and travel back in time and turn 40 all over again in the United States.
No, I don't want to turn 40 all over again. Once is going to be fine for me.
But then you get to be 30 again. Well, 39.
I could be 30 again. I could kind of be 30 again, but I don't really want to be 30 again because I was really broke when I was 30.
Yeah. Well, we're not really broke. We're not rich.
Well, you're over 30 now.
I am. Let's not talk about how over 30 I am.
No, let's talk about how over 30 you are because I'm talking about turning 40 soon. So we can talk about how over 30 you are. I
remember when Diana turned 32.
Oh my God, I panicked. I don't know why. I didn't panic about turning 30. And I feel like when you turn 30, you're still in that in your 20s phase. I was going to say 1920s there, but you're still in your 20s phase. And you're still in that very much, I'm going to party until 2 o'clock in the morning phase. And I still am trying to figure out what the hell I'm going to do with my life phase. And everybody I know who's 30, they're broke. They're nowhere near what they wanted to do with their life. It wasn't until they were in their mid-30s where they're like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is when my life starts. So yeah, when I turned 30, I was okay. When I turned 32, I had a fucking meltdown.
And I got a text message from Diana freaking out that she was 32. So I sent her the YouTube video because back then GIFs were not a thing on text messages. And it was the clip from When Harry Met Sally, when Sally is freaking out because her ex-fiance is getting married. And she goes, and I'm going to be 40. And Harry goes, when? And she goes, eventually. And he goes, in 8 years, which was so appropriate. But I vividly remember that. I'm about to turn, well, not about to, but in a couple months, I will be turning 33. And for some reason, 33 is freaking me out a little bit.
You know, really 33?
Yeah.
I didn't realize you were that much younger than me.
Like, I don't know why, but it's like now I'm like really in there. Like I am in my 30s.
You are in your 30s. Yeah, you're like, yeah, you're, oh God, you're like 4.5 years younger than me.
Well, in my mind, like I told you, in my mind, none of us ages. Like Ryan has not aged in my mind since I met you guys.
In my head, I'm in my 20s, so I mean.
I know I'm for sure not in my 20s because I cannot go out and drink and party like I did in my 20s. Then get up and go to work the next day.
Good God, yeah. My idea of I can't drink like I did when I was younger, when I was in my early 30s, late 20s. Because those hangovers get brutal with age. Oh, I have the worst hangovers.
A 33 or 32 hangover lasts days. Like,
oh God, honey, you're gonna be in trouble when you're in your late 30s. When you get to my neck of the woods, you're gonna be in so much trouble.
I feel like, and I have like my glass of wine with the show every week, and that's basically the extent of my drinking these days. But like, even that is hard. It's hard to wake up the next morning. But if I go out, like I'm going out this Saturday night, I'm going to the Navy Ball for the Chief Petty Officers. There may be alcohol involved. And the next day, I guarantee you, I will feel like I fell down a flight of concrete stairs because my body hurts.
Well, my body hurts right now, but that's because I got my ass kicked in Zumba. But for me, yeah, the one glass is, I used to be able to finish off about 2 bottles of wine on my own, no problem. Yeah, I'm like, okay, at the 1 bottle, if I finish off, I'm down to 1 bottle before I have a problem. And for those of you who are thinking, you might have a problem for the fact that you can finish off 1 bottle on your own, you are right. But I do not go to meetings because only alcoholics go to meetings, and I am not an alcoholic yet. I have yet to admit that to myself.
Well, I mean, you're a writer.
Yeah, I am. And writers are supposed to drink a lot. That's just part of who we are.
And I am too, but I can't. I can't do it anymore. Not that I did it a lot when I was in my 20s. That's a lie. I just thought of like when Rich and I first started dating, and there was definitely a lot of drinking involved. But
yes, there was.
But I just can't anymore. Like my 1 glass of wine, maybe if we're having like a super good episode, and maybe I'll have 2 and things get really crazy.
Or when Deborah comes on the show
and makes words of the episode.
Yes, and we have the drinking game, word of the episode drinking game.
That next morning was a rough morning for me.
You too. I've had a few of those episodes. I have the episode where I took down a bottle of wine.
I was so proud.
Huh?
I was so proud.
I know. Well, that was also because of panic, because that was the time that we got banned from YouTube.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of that was stress drinking. Like, oh my God, did we just ruin the show? Mind you, guys, do not put hashtags in the descriptions.
Yeah, hashtags. Don't do it.
Don't put it in the descriptions, no. Because apparently you get treated worse than Logan Paul. So
did not know hashtags had such power.
Right? So yeah, I was stress drinking that night, and yeah, I woke up, massive hangover, got sick, rallied myself, rolled into work. So that's when I was proud of myself. So the whole morning when like clients call, I was like, shh.
Don't think so loudly. Well, I think
we are at our hour.
Yeah, just about.
And you were afraid we weren't going to have enough to talk about tonight.
I know, true.
Foolishness.
I know. What was I thinking?
I know. You and I get together. I mean, this is like our texts in general.
Yes, so there is no saying what topic we'll end up talking about.
No, drinking, Paris.
Which kind of go hand in hand in this situation.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, yeah, they can hold their look.
But I have started reading this. I started reading it today, and I'm maybe to the prologue and the beginning of the first chapter. So I'm very, very at the very beginning of it. But I'm very intrigued by what they found at the prologue, because if you read the prologue and the very last sentence of the prologue, it says, so these guys, well, I mean, okay, I'm not going to tell you, but they find something, and the last sentence of the prologue is, quick, let's get her out.
Oh my
Who is
gosh.
her? I mean, I'm assuming it's not a person. I'm assuming it's an
Let's
object.
hope not it's not a person. But I mean, there are scandals in this book. So way to get us intrigued, Karen. I know.
My work here is done.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, guys, pick up your copy of The Paris Secret, available wherever you get your books, and read along with us. Send us in your questions. We will ask them to Karen when she comes on the show, when we have our literary brunch. I'm so excited we're going to have a literary brunch. You know, next month's book of the month is also in Europe. It's so cute. I'm sorry.
Don't
For the
mind
people
the
who are
hand.
listening, all you saw was just this little hand just do the spider crawl up Michelle. It was adorable. Kids are great when they're somebody else's. So yeah, we should maybe do a brunch next month too. That should be something fun that we do.
I could do that.
Yeah, for our European authors, because we should get more European authors.
So for
People around the world.
For our European and British authors, we will be Mimosa's Women in Words.
This works for me. So you guys keep reading. Be sure to sign up for our newsletter, exclusive content, because for those of you who are on the newsletter, you got to hear about the book first. And you get all the news first before everybody else does.
This is true.
All right. Well, good night, guys.
Have a good night. Bye.